You are watching WPTV, award-winning college television.
Welcome back to the desk. The MLB is red hot right now, and here to break it all down is Andy Gavin, Tyler Cooper, Daniel Karp, and Andrew Ballistreri. Guys, Spencer Strider, the latest pitcher to land on the injured list, and he's not the only one. Many star pitchers are having elbow issues. Bally, we'll go to you first. How do you think the MLB can fix this epidemic of elbow problems?
Yeah, this is absolutely an epidemic at this point. There's too many stars that are injured. Something really does need to change. And, they brought the pitch clock. They made it shorter this year. I think they have to, reverse that change, even make it longer, up it to 22, somewhere between 22 and 25 seconds. We've seen more surgeries just in 2023 than we saw all throughout the 90s. And that's a huge issue, so the MLB absolutely needs to do something about this.
Absolutely. I mean, it's pitcher after pitcher after pitcher just tearing their UCL or whatever it may be. But Karp, we'll move over to you. What do you think the MLB needs to do?
I agree with my friend over here about the need for a pitch clock. I mean, I don't personally like the pitch clock. I understand people with their attention spans are very short, so they need a pitch clock to be able to watch a game, But honestly, I think that Major League Baseball needs to reevaluate pitching in general as a whole. I mean, obviously, baseball, an arm is not supposed to move like this in general, so that's why softball players they're able to pitch more. But you have a guy like Michael Kopech, perfect for example. Threw like over 100 in college minors, now threw about 95 like a year ago, and now he's throwing like 102 again. I mean, you got to reevaluate it as a whole because it's just crazy at this point. I really don't know. I mean, you look at your film just to say, hey, what can I do to throw 100 miles an hour, throw it by? What can I do to get my spin rate up, to throw with my slider, so somebody could swing and miss it in the other batter's box? So you got to look at it as I need to reevaluate my pitching so I could pitch effectively and not get injured.
Yeah, because with this pitch clock, it changes the way you have to think about things. You have to think of not throwing gas every time.
It could also be a mental thing too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with the simple answer here because the pitchers just need to have more, extended rest period because, if we think about what, Daniel mentioned, the velocity weights and, and the spin weights, that's, they're taking a lot on the arm and, instead of pitching every, 4 to 5 days, extend that and, have that, later, have it, later on, go later on in the, in the rotation, so, it doesn't have to, take a blow with the arm. And, Yoeli Perez has been, another guy on the that got Tommy John surgery, and he's out for the season, and that takes a hit to my fantasy team. So, I mean,
priorities.
Yeah.
Fantasy over health, I get it. That kind of raises a question on whether the roster limit should be increased to allow for more pitchers on the team.
It also raises the question back to the 90s. They were all able to throw 140 pitches, go 9 innings, and nothing happened. But now all of a sudden it's happening now.
Yeah, but those
could be analyzed.
But these are all. It's a conversation that needs to be gone further in depth, and I think you, Andrew Gavin, kind of have a lot to say about this.
Yes. So right now it's Shane Bieber, Framber Valdez, Robbie Ray, Liam Hendricks, Shohei Ohtani, Jacob deGrom, Sandy Alcantara, Garrett Cole, Jonathan Loaisiga, Spencer Strider. Those are all the big players within the last month. Besides Ohtani and deGrom, but I threw them in there because it's still relevant enough.
Yeah.
The UCL, the ulnar collateral ligament, it matures around when you're 28, right? These pitchers, when they come in and they're drafted, they're throwing 100, 101 already.
Even an 18-year-old do now.
Exactly.
That's
it's a double-edged
ridiculous.
sword, though, because you're taught if you throw it as hard as you can. Catchers don't even set up anything. They just set up right down the middle, and they're told blow it by them. There's no more accuracy. There's no more pinpoint accuracy that we've seen. You look at someone like Nestor Cortez, Greg Maddux. They rely on their off-speed. They rely on making swing and misses. They rely on going outside the zone. Tanaka, too. We've seen pitchers do that a lot. And now we're just going to spin rate, and we're just going to throw as hard as you can to make it go by them. And right now, it's really hurting the MLB, and it's hurting these star players, and you want to market all these players around them, then protect them and teach them how to use the ball. I'm in favor, bring back sticky stuff. If you bring back sticky stuff, it can save their arm, save their elbow, and they can get more spin rates off that without tearing their elbows all the time.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
did they train to throw with sticky stuff, like in the Little Leagues?
That I honestly,
in high school and college?
No, but I think what the thing is, They were so used to using sticky stuff. Now they're not using any
But
sticky
how did
stuff.
they do it before they started using sticky stuff?
Because think about it, in the 90s, they used pine tar all the time.
No, I'm
They
saying
rubbed
pitchers
balls
now.
all the time.
Pitchers now.
I mean,
Yeah,
that-
I'm saying right now
look,
they don't use anything, so they're
Like
they're
today's
making
pitchers,
extras
how
of
do they
sticky stuff.
train?
bringing
before.
back sticky stuff is a topic that could be gone on for a whole entire episode. I mean, the biggest thing about that was Nestor Cortez and Greg Maddux in the same sentence for me. But, moving
No, because they
from-
both rely on
yeah,
off-speed, yeah.
I know what you're talking about. But moving on to a more positive subject, Anthony Volpe has had a really hot start to his sophomore campaign. Daniel Karp, we'll start with you. What do you think has changed the most in his play and the reason for his success?
I'm going to say his plate discipline. I mean, 52 to 167, a bolder strikeout from last year. This year is already at 7 to 9. Yankees not playing today, got rained out, but he's also taking the ball the other way and going to center field more often. He's not pulling the ball as much, so we see him we saw the series in Houston. We saw when he was really hot in Arizona, he was taking the ball the other way. He let the ball come to him, lets the barrel hit it, goes to right, goes gap to gap. So it's a great sign to see. This guy looks like he's going to be the Yankees' leadoff hitter for years to come.
He absolutely does. Andy, we'll move on to you.
No, I'm just saying he's playing with a swagger and a confidence. He knows his strike zone. He finally he's speaking up. He's called down a really bad strike through the other day, and he gave it to the ump. He chewed the ump out. He did it in Arizona too. He's just playing with a chip on his shoulder, and it's like that New York vibe he's starting to play with. And I'd love to see it. And I think when you play with that type of swagger, you just play better too.
Yeah, I mean, confidence is a big part of the game. We've seen guys just get in their own heads and lose it throughout the season. But move on to you, Bally. What do you think Anthony Volpe is doing really well?
Yeah, very similar to what Gavin said. I'm going to go with his hitting mindset. And I mean, we saw last season he had that huge pressure on him of being the New York Yankees shortstop after Derek Jeter. I mean, we saw Didi Gregorius, he came in, he wasn't amazing. Gleyber Torres wasn't amazing at shortstop. This kid, he wasn't great last year at shortstop, and he didn't hit well. This year, he's got that pressure off of him. I think Juan Soto helped him a lot in the offseason. I think Judge helped him a lot in the offseason. But he looks great. He's not trying to crush the ball every time. Like Karp mentioned, he's going gap to gap. He's hitting for contact rather than just hitting for power. And he looks really freaking good this year.
Yeah, it was like a new method he developed. What was it, like the flat bat, I think?
Yeah.
The flat bat.
And he also put on muscle weight too.
Yeah.
You're seeing him make those
Gain
deeper
mass.
throws in the hole and everything, and he's looking good.
Yeah, speaking of that, Coop,
Where's his
what do
eye?
you
Take
think?
him off.
Yeah,
has been his biggest
Volpe,
improvement?
Bally just mentioned it, like his fielding with his glove has been superb this season. Like, he's making all the routine plays and, he's making, Derek Jeter-esque plays, throwing off the back foot and, doing a lot of those, flashy plays. And he's just been an overall vacuum cleaner at shortstop.
Yeah, but, we'll move on to another young player who just got the call up to the show. Jackson Holliday, touted prospect, #1 in the Orioles system after Gunnar Henderson got promoted last year. But Coop, the Orioles are off to a bit of a slow start. Do you think that that Jackson Holliday is going to be an infusion of talent and youth for them to really just get over the hump right now?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you take a look at like what he did with the in spring training, he was elite there, and in 10 games in AAA, he's batting like .330 with 2 home runs in 10 games, and Holliday earned his first major league RBI this past week, and I think that he'll provide that boost for this Orioles team to get them going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think he's going to be electric. But Bally, what do you think? Do you think this can help the Orioles kind of just propel them a little bit as they've been struggling?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I disagree with the whole slump thing. I mean, they're 8-4,
Yeah,
12
it's-
games into the season. Calling this a slump is a little ridiculous.
They started off slow. They dropped 2 out of 3 to the Pirates. They struggled against the Royals. They came back against the Royals in all 3 games. They struggled quite a bit.
All right, 12 games in.
Yeah, we're 12 games in. It's a
It's a
very,
slow-
very
It's a slow start.
It's
It's a slow
150
start.
games left. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a slow start for what we expected from them.
All right, enough.
What do you think about Jackson
Anyways,
Holliday?
I think this is great for the Orioles. I mean, we've seen this kid just tore up the minors, tore up spring training. Having him, Adley Rutschman, and Gunnar Henderson is ridiculous. It's an infusion of youth, like you had mentioned. And this team is terrifying. As a Yankee fan, I don't want to play them at all. I don't want to play them today, tomorrow, or the next day. And yeah, they're scary now.
They absolutely are. Andy, what do you think?
No, I mean, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Colin Cowser, Jordan Westberg, electric. Gunnar Henderson. Jackson Holliday
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
is electric. What?
Are you kidding me? You don't think that Jackson Holliday is good?
What? No, I'm saying he is. I'm saying he's just going to be as a Jackson Holliday. We're going to be the best player in like 2 years.
Maybe I
Well, you
missed
started your thing off
Yeah,
with
I
saying
was like,
no.
You said no, so I was confused there. I just want to make sure I'm
No, I
on the
didn't
right
that's
page
what I
here.
said. Yes,
Happens often with him.
All right, now the personal shots I see.
No, it's not personal.
It is personal.
On here.
You made it personal.
Whatever. Karp.
Yeah, I think he's gonna slip in there just fine. I mean, 1077 OPS this year for the Norfolk Tides, I believe that's the name of the team, and which was like 5th on the team. First of all, that team is just disgusting. Shout out to Norfolk Tide, whatever. 949 OPS in the minors, 70-80 overall grade as a player in the minors. He's gonna be great. I mean, Orioles gonna be fine. Honestly, I think the Orioles are gonna be fine with or without him on the team. He's just gonna make them better. So bright future for the kid. Also love Matt Holliday, so shout out to him too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does in his MLB career. But don't forget to follow us at SportsDeskWP for updates and more. Thank you to all the cast and crew, and a big shout out to our studio manager, Al Clarke, from Studio B in Hamilton Hall. And for everyone at the desk, I'm Marc Brandt. Join us next week for a very special WP Sports Desk here on WP TV.